since 1960s, the amount of Democrats who believe in God, the percentage has dropped dramatically. It was from like about 90%. Now it's 68%.
Wow.
Whereas you look at the Republicans, and the statistics are, again, slight grain of salt here, like 98% of Republicans in the 1960s believed in God, and now it's like 94, 92%. So slight drop there. But the Democrats, it's been a dramatic drop.
Right.
And I do think evil Satan, he'll go wherever he wants to go. And yes, there's so much corruption on, in the Republican side of politics for sure.
Of course.
Mm-hmm. And in the future, I'm sure we'll see a ramp up where the major corruption's back with the Republicans.
The good old days.
The good old days. But as of now, it does seem as though Satan's got his slimy little paw up the asses of Democrats, using them as puppets more so than Republicans.
Yeah, he switches it up to keep us off our toes.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the pendulum swings. And yeah, so you also look at a lot of Democrats in office. They're not Democrats. They're communists.
Yeah.
And there's no question about it. Communism is an expression of Satan. There's a reason why Communism 101, one of the first things they do is try to disconnect the population from God.
Right.
Ban religion, outlaw them, ban the Bible. You can't have another God if we want you to have the government as your God.
The China CCP, that's what they do.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then I think the other thing is why they're so excited to get people to not believe in God is if you believe in God, then you certainly have a belief of some kind of afterlife. And if you have a belief in the afterlife, like, oh, I'll be with God forever, it's amazing, you're not going to fear death as much as an atheist view where this is it. Once the lights go out, they're out forever. There's nothing. You'll be much more controllable with the fear of death over you. And all the fear mongering, it's leveraging the fear of death. If you extrapolate it, like, hey, COVID's going to get you. Obviously,
Right.
Climate change. Well, you're concerned about the climate? No, you're really concerned about we're all going to die. We're all going to boil to death if, we don't change the climate. So they leverage the fear of death over people, and it works way better. You're able to control more people when they don't have a firm belief in God.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I do think the devil is working more through the Democratic side.
Also,
right
you're
now.
not thinking big picture. You're not thinking like, there's a plan here. It's just
Yeah,
like, I
or
got to
the
do whatever they
purpose.
tell me. I got to get through tomorrow.
Yeah.
God, if you have God, you think longer term. You think bigger
Also,
scale.
you don't think God made a mistake and put you in the wrong body.
That's huge. That's a huge one right now, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's anger at God. I never thought about that.
And I think if you can...
It separates kids from God.
Oh my God,
So does
you're onto
abuse.
something. Yeah.
And I think if you can
Now
get
we're jamming.
people to largely believe, yeah, sometimes God makes mistakes, put me in a man's body, but I'm actually a woman. I actually know more than God. God made a mistake. This isn't me making a mistake.
Thank
thinking
God for
wrong.
Klaus Schwab and Monsanto. They'll correct God's mistakes for me.
They're kind of playing it that way, aren't they? So if you get people to believe you can be born in the wrong body, even if you're not discussing God in the conversation, subliminally, you're getting the message across there isn't really a God. Because if there was a God, he's not going to mistakenly put people in the wrong body.
Right.
So I do, it's just like that.
That must be why they've glommed onto the trans movement so much. Allegedly, that's a good theory, at least.
Yeah, I do think it's a part of it. I do think
It's a psyop.
It's very much a psyop.
On Twitter, it's a big psyop, and they've targeted me for years, over and over. I just finally quit listening, but it gets people talking about something that you don't have to know one thing in the world, no background, no education. You don't have to know anything to parrot the lines they give you, and then you'll take your eyes off China building missile launchers in Cuba right now. You'll never know about that. You won't be interested in that.
Yeah.
Or the next pandemic. Or counting the votes fairly. You won't care none of that because you'll say, you're a cis.
Yeah.
You'll know all that, but you won't have a day's worth of education to get there.
Yeah.
Because it's false science. It has no peer review nor control group. It's fake, I call it Monsatan science.
Yeah.
They're all like bought off, and it's really horrible that they would have weaponized science.
Speaking of which, do you know who Neil deGrasse Tyson is?
Yeah, that
Have you
guy.
been listening to any of the BS he's been saying lately?
Yeah,
We
he's
talked about it with
100% BS.
That guy, he's sold out. Here he is,
They got to him.
like a
used to
man
sound
of
smart.
science.
Yeah.
Yeah, he used to be. I think he's still smart. He's just willing to look stupid because he's saying stupid things to do the bidding of his masters.
Which is smart, because that's what's going to keep him funded and working. I mean, if,
Yeah,
like,
that's
we're
how
getting
you get
deplatformed
money.
and ruined, and he's out there probably making an extra $3 million a year by saying this
probably,
shit.
but he has to go to sleep with himself every night.
I don't think it bothers any of them.
I don't think so either. Because
They're like, cha-ching.
well, if
That's
it's
all,
Satan,
I'm getting me a new car. Cha-ching. They don't care.
they don't.
They don't care about the lives they ended or screwed up.
Or worse, they
Yeah.
think that this is what I was trying to get at. They think that they're protecting a victimized class. They're stepping up for people that are being abused. So that is a good intention, but the road to hell is paved in good intentions. And for a scientist to be pushing this sort of agenda because he thinks, oh, I'm helping trans kids that are struggling in school. I know that's what he's
Yeah,
thinking.
I'm helping trans boys never to have an arm.
But, back in Nazi Germany, people...
They were helping with the trains on time.
Yeah, people turning their neighbors in thought they were doing the right thing. They thought they were helping.
Well, that's what I'm tying
As
up.
my Uncle Sherman just departed this earth, his famous thing he used to say to us kids when we said, I thought I was doing the... He goes, you know what thought did? That's what he always tell us kids. You thought you had to fart, but you shoot your breads.
Wisdom right
words, yeah.
there. But, even though there's all this weaponized morality trying to get people to do the right thing that's actually a destructive thing, or you get a useful idiot like Neil deGrasse Tyson, I think a good way to inoculate ourselves from not propagating evil that's disguised as angelic activity is, one, do our own critical thinking.
Yeah.
Two, be very in touch with our heart,
Yeah.
our conscience, conscience, our soul. Because they can't censor that. You can be distracted from it, but if you're in touch with your heart, your conscience, at the very least, you'll be like, something feels off here. You don't know how to, you don't need to explain it more than that. You just know something feels off here. And then once you do that, you have the awareness of it. If you've got a little bit of courage, then you can act on that instead of acting on the useful idiot track.
Right. I always thought it was about nobody can stop you from getting better. And if you get the desire or the fear that you can't get better or more learned or more intelligent, then that tells you something. Because you should always be trying to grow.
Yeah, we're humans. I don't care who you are, what your circumstances are. We're more powerful than we think we are.
Yeah, we are. We definitely are.
And they, the Klaus Schwabs of the world, I don't think they want us in touch with that power.
No.
Because it's much easier to have power over people when people forget how dang powerful they actually are.